So, this game's really important to me.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I first heard about this game in like 2014 from like one of their really early trailers. And of course I like paid attention to it because it's, a 1920 a homage to 1920s Fleischer cartoons in an era where there's so many like gritty shooter games that, you know,
This is this is quite an accomplishment, I would say.
for a small team that grew in size and to get the amount of popularity that it does from just a simple idea, like obviously wouldn't recommend like doing what the Moldenhauer Bros did because they had to remortgage their house to make this game. Like, it paid off, definitely, given that you have, a Netflix show, but, like, please
Right?
don't remortgage your house if you're making a game.
It is really kind of amazing when you think about the fact that, like, you think of both, like, old cartoons like this, and then, like, sprite animations, like the stuff that would get in, like, Street Fighter 3.
Yeah.
And you think, like, back then they were able to crank out, like, an amazing amount of stuff in, like, a year. You know? Like, you can get entire, like, how many cartoons?
A lot. A
Yeah.
fucking lot of cartoons.
And
Like,
nowadays, like, that sort of thing is not easy to do. Like, this game took a pretty large amount of time to make.
yeah, it got delayed a lot because they're sticking to, like, the original techniques, aside from a few things that, 1920s animators had to deal with. So you had everything on paper. Every frame has been drawn and inked on paper. This is all oil painted. All these illustrations are oil painted, and this footage is like captured. So
Jeez.
yeah, it also like follows similar themes of 1920s cartoons by having like kind of dark, depressing themes.
Yeah, just kind of
Like a
going
little,
all in.
yeah, because it's, like, gambling and shit. The devil is there. Satan, Mephistopheles, there's no sugarcoating it.
Yeah, it's like these silly cartoon, like, they're anthropomorphic cups. And they're just like, yeah, we're gonna go out gambling and deal with the devil. Like, quite literally.
It's funny to think that, like, the idea of them being cups was inspired by, like, a Japanese propaganda short.
What?
Yeah, there's, like, a Japanese propaganda short, and, like, one of the scenes just had, like, this cup-headed character, like, shove a bunch of other characters into him and morph into a tank.
What?
And I think he shot at Mickey Mouse?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
This filter, by the way, there's like just like visual filters across the entire game, which
Yeah.
I like kind of thought it would get annoying after a while or like strain on my eyes, but no. It's just very atmospheric.
Yeah. I really love Elder Kettle's voice.
Yeah. All the sound design in this game is amazing.
I wish we could get the sound designers for our own game, but, you make do with what you've got. And here's the tutorial level a game journalist couldn't complete.
Yeah, that was a thing. Okay. I think this is after like some changes
Yeah.
because I don't believe you could select your character beforehand.
Yeah, Mugman was a later addition if you were like player 1. If player 1 wanted to be Mugman, you could do that. If player 2 wanted to be Cuphead.
Remember the Infinite Mugman glitch?
Yes, I was about to bring that up.
That was fun.
Cuphead and his pal Mugman and his pal
Oh my god.
Mugman.
I do remember whenever I saw this game, and I was like, oh, it's just gonna be bosses? That sounds like it might get old quick. And then I played the game and remembered, oh right, I really like good boss fights.
Honestly, bosses are like the best part of any video game, and if your game is just bosses, then hell yeah, sign me the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like I somehow forgot that I was a fan of Gunstar Heroes and other treasure games. But no,
Yeah, it's like you made an entire Mugen character based around Gunstar Heroes.
pretty much. But yeah, no, like, it's actually kind of weird that the platforming segments that kind of got thrown in are maybe the worst part about this game.
I was going to defend them, but perilous peers exist, so yeah, I'll let you have this one.
I just, they're either there or they're annoying. So, like, for a game that is this, like, tight and fun, it's very weird that they exist.
Yeah. So, the music in this game fucking slaps. I am a fucking jazz aficionado, and I love every bit of this soundtrack.
I don't have a single bad thing to say about it, other than the fact that, like, I don't even notice it, because it fits so well, and I'm so concentrated on actually playing the game.
Yeah.
This game is hard.
Oh, it most definitely is. You know, the Dark Souls of run-and-gun games.
God, that is such a stupid term, Jesus.
Now people could say the Elden Ring of run-and-gun games.
No, they could just say it's hard.
Yeah, that's also true.
So I guess we're not gonna get a masterful playthrough, but at the very least we're gonna get probably first clears.
Hopefully, yeah, you know. If you are doing a long play of a game that's this hard, you might as well, like, cut out all of your deaths.
Let's get some interesting dynamics. There's the expert mode. Just they have harder versions on the boss fights. And then ranking you based on damage taken, amount of parries you did, amount of meter you gained or used, I think.
Yeah, it's meter spent.
So
As well as your time.
Oh right, yeah.
I do think that the clears do give you a lot of replayability to, like, you know, go back and, like, do better than you did last time, and of course get those S ranks.
Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise the game is actually very short, but it's mostly made lengthy by just how difficult it is and encouraging you to go back and, like, you know, get perfect runs.
Honestly, I would like more games to be like that instead of, like, Borderlands, infinite loot, infinite missions, and shit, and I'm not kidding.
I think there's a place for it. I don't think that's necessarily a problem, but
Yeah, I guess that's true, but I'm just more of like a gal who likes to, you know, complete things rather than have a game that lasts quote-unquote forever.
I do think there's a lot of value in games like this, where it's nice to have just like one evening with it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot. I think that's one good thing about, like, the indie market being as big as it is now, is that you do tend to get a lot of games like that.
Yeah, like a game that's like, you know, the meat, none of the fat.
Short and concentrated.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to this game's love of just referencing just all sorts of shit, but in really creative ways.
Yeah, like, when it comes to, like, references, this game does it right by, like, they're sometimes obvious, but, like, they put enough of a twist on things to where it has its own identity.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't recognize that unless you like are a huge fan of the thing that it's a reference of. That kind of
When I
stuff.
saw a certain boss's win quote in the DLC, I was like, oh my god.
See, because I noticed those acorns were definitely like a Mega Man reference.
Yeah. There's like references to Mega Man. The mechanics of this game are based on Street Fighter, like Street Fighter 3 specifically. Because you have EX moves as well as parrying. And super arts. You could only select one.
Oh yeah, this game does seem to be a fan of fighting games, which is a funny little coincidence.
Yeah. And I love it. And I love the little references that they make to that. Although there's like not many like SNK fighter references, but you know, you take what you can get.
There also does seem to be just sort of a general like treasure vibe to this game.
Yeah.
With the chaser. That one feels very deliberate to Gunstar Heroes. Also, shout out to Pork Grind's fucking voice.
Goodbye. Let's go fuck up some vegetables.
I think the only real complaint I have about the weapons and items is just that the relics seem pretty limiting, and that I think half of them, if not more, are just like easy mode.
The charms, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. They're just like you get more health but you do less damage, which is like, I mean, not bad. I don't really dislike it. It's mostly the fact that there isn't a lot of choice. I find.
Yeah.
I mostly just stuck with Smoke Bomb the entire time.
I kind of stuck around with coffee after I like learned the game because I'm just like, hey, more meter is good for me.
Yeah, those are like the two. Even though there's like 6 charms.
There's like a few more in DLC, and one of them is Play Miss Chalice. The other one is really good, and then the other one is the. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
So, this boss has Wallace's face.
It does. I just like watching this game. Like, I love playing it, but just, like, seeing it. Actually, earlier I was rendering a video of me, my first clears on all the DLC bosses, and then as I was looking at the Vegas preview screen of it just slowly playing the video as it's rendering, I would just found myself kind of watching it and looking at individual frames.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm the same way too. Like, I think at a certain point I would like deliberately slow down the YouTube video just to like chew on an animation.
Yeah, it's like I kind of actually want to find, have more like sprite rips of the game just so I could see what the game actually looks like, you know, behind the scenes, so to speak.
I think there may be rips on Spriter's Resource, but we don't have any for the DLC yet.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few, including some beta content. There's actually a lot of, like, cut content from this game, as far as I know.
Yeah, and some of it made its way back into the DLC, which is nice.
Oh yeah, also, the frogs have the Ryu and Ken animations.
Okay!
Like, the intro was just straight up just some Street Fighter references.
Yeah. Yoga fire! Oh, good. Croaks, why did you fucking push backwards? Come on, my frog. These projectiles were always weird because they just reminded me of the Sega Saturn logo. Oh my god, these guys are pushovers!
This game can look pretty easy if you know what you're doing. which
Yeah.
I think I've said about a lot of games, so I don't even know why.
Tiger! Yeah, I remember the devs explaining that, like, the slot machines are supposed to be references to, like, the Shadaloo bosses of Street Fighter 2, except Balrog's not there. It's like the tigers, like the jumping balls are supposed to represent, like, his shots or his uppercut.
What are the other ones then?
The green snake is supposed to be Vega. Like, it was supposed to come in sideways and then, like, roll down like that, but they, like, the, Vega's rolling move.
Ah,
And then the bison ones have, like, the blue flame that represent his, psycho power.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then there's just like stuff hidden around like the hub.
Yeah. That's a little morbid if you think about it. A fish fishing for fish.
Oh wow.
And now here we have one of our mausoleums. You get a super move if you can parry all of the spooky ghosts.
Yeah, so this game has a rule where things that are pink are parryable, which is done by this like kind of insta-shield thing.
Yeah, you press jump after you jump to parry something. And it can be really hard to parry something if you're, like, parrying something above you and you try to jump into it.
Yeah.
I think that's why the pea sugar exists as a charm. Because if you jump with it, you just instantly parry. It's really niche.
Oh yeah, that.
Why is the Mugman bagging?
I think that just that animation is just too much fun.
Yeah.
I
I need a
can't
way to celebrate beating a boss, too.
I can't tell you this for sure, but I believe the crouch animation is it feels like a reference to Mickey Mania. It's like very distinctly the same animation Mickey does when he's crouching.
So yeah, that's the character that would become mortal, question mark, in the DLC, and you could play as her, kind of, question mark.
We might see it. Anyway, here's that one super move I only use basically ever.
I think invincibility has its uses.
Yeah,
And
no,
then there's Giant Ghost, which is like, lol.
I actually ended up using invincibility in the DLC, but I don't think I ever really used it for the main campaign.
So yeah, another one of these.
Why didn't I have one for the DLC?
Oh, come on. The new thing that they have for getting coins is much better.
It is, absolutely.
It's like they have this old school mentality of like more shit on the screen equals hard, and it just kind of relentless. Like
I
you'll
think
keep having like these fucking beetle guys dropping down, and it's like, dude, stop.
if I remember correctly, like, this was sort of a thing that they kind of felt obligated to add. Like, this was not in their original plans, and then it just sort of got pushed on them. Because, like, people were just like, hey, what about, like, levels?
I think I remember hearing different where they like had the idea of levels, but they kind of scaled back on it because, you know, the scope of the game. And then at a certain point they were told that they could put levels back in or something, or like they had like the time and resources to do so. I don't know. I'm gonna have to double check on that because
Because
I
I remember,
really
like,
don't remember.
the early footage being almost entirely just boss footage, if not exclusively.
There are like a few like scrapped levels, but you know. Oh yeah, they also have this cruel thing of if you want the game to be in black and white, you have to go through each of these platform levels without killing a single enemy.
Oh, yeah.
And while it is doable, it's just incredibly obnoxious.
Yeah, that was strange.
Weird that, like, this pacifist thing happened, like, after Undertale released, and while Undertale didn't, like, invent the whole pacifism in video games thing, it definitely, like, popularized the idea for a while.
Did it.
At least I felt like it kinda did, but let's not talk about Undertale, even though we're fighting a evil flower.
Oh, yeah. Never made
Oh
that
hey,
connection.
it's your Discord avatar.
Yeah, that was a thing a while back.
I want to do like another hive mind with Cuphead avatars, see how many people we can get doing it. But I'm also like, I don't want to spoil the DLC.
No, at a certain point, it's
Yeah,
been out
it
long
just
enough.
becomes public knowledge. Oh yeah, this song is in Super Smash Brothers?
Oh, is it? I forgot about that.
Yeah, came with the Cuphead costume, which is also kind of a absurd thing. Like, Undertale is one thing, but then, you know, Cuphead is another. Like, damn, congrats.
Yeah, that's pretty legit.
Rip
Cagney
Mr.
Carnation?
Burn. Yeah. He's Cagney. Cagney Carnation. Park the car at Harvard Yard.
Okay. I'm kind of avoiding the other, style of boss fights.
Saving him for last.
This is just the one here?
Yeah, there's only Hildeberg in Inkwell Isle 1. Which is also funny to think about how, like, the isles aren't given, like, unique names. They're just numbered.
It is a little weird, yeah.
Like even in the DLC, it's just Inkwell Isle 4 or DLC Island.
I do remember that throwing me off as like, oh, it's just aisle 4? Also, that character comes back.
Yeah. Look at this stop motion thing that they didn't have to do.
It's incredible, really.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's this new type of game mode where it's a flying game, and I don't think any of your actual options matter for these.
Farms, but that's about it. But yeah, you're restricted to only like 2 weapon types. And you don't even get the second one until you move to the next aisle and talk to
Oh,
the canteen guy again. Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm just so accustomed to having bombs that I'm just like, oh, yeah. But yeah, this boss is really annoying on expert.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, fucking so many green guys shooting bullets. So many little minions that everybody has. Minions!
Oh yeah, these are like constellations, actual constellations. This,
Yeah.
this is I forget the name. I just remember Taurus. All right.
There's Taurus, Gemini, Archer guy is Sagittarius?
Ah.
I think? And here comes a reference to Chariot, that one Capcom shmup that not many people remember.
Huh.
Yeah, Big Moon Boss.
I do love you sometimes like can get quote unquote hit after the boss has been KO'd.
Yeah.
It's just like ow. Okay.
You just hear that crack noise, and it's like, it usually gives you anxiety, but like, after you won, you've just like, had like a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. I hate how they hid coins!
Yeah. I never actually got all the DLC items yet, due to the fact that I don't know where all the coins are hidden.
Yeah, I had to look up a guide for the coins, because they're pretty well hidden. Like, you have to rub up against things and, like, keep clicking the A button in order to, like, find some coins.
I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the charge shot now that we have it.
The thing that was, like, broken on launch.
Yeah, so I kind of maybe got carried by this thing when I first beat the game, because I was just like, oh, this seems pretty neat, and then found out later it's like, oh, it's considered pretty broken. It now charges slower and does less damage, I think. So
Yeah.
it isn't nearly as good now, but what are you gonna do?
I honestly hate using it, just because I'm too used to just hold down the shoot button to shoot.
Yeah, it feels like they might have over nerfed it because it is awkward to use, but it was
Yeah.
rewarding, and now it's like I get like obviously it was probably a little too good, but now
Yeah.
it's just not. It just doesn't feel good.
I only used it against Grim Matchstick because of his fucking bubbles. Oh yeah, these cutscenes originally weren't animated, but they actually took the time in the middle of the DLC's development in order to animate these.
I was wondering. I was trying to remember if I had seen that before. I realized I have not.
And it's crazy to think that they just made a bunch of unique animated stuff for, like, trailers while they were making the DLC. Like, I think none of it made it into the actual DLC itself. They were dedicated to their craft.
Yeah?
It's like one of those things that sounds like it shouldn't work, it should backfire, but it just didn't. It's like The Thief and the Cobbler, but if it actually released. But that's a whole different story unless you want to hear about it.
So,
Wallace Cupcake.
the roundabout is a fun weapon, mostly because roundabout's a fun word. But
is really good.
yeah, it does more damage on the way back, so you
Oh, it
intentionally
does more damage on the way back?
believe so. Yeah, that's
I
like
didn't know that.
that's the entire reason you use it is so that you can fire it off screen in order to get optimal damage whenever it's returning.
I use it in bosses, like, in case I have to face away from them a lot, so I can, like, keep firing at them if I have to dodge backwards.
I'm gonna feel silly if that turns out not to be true, and I'm just remembering wrong. But
And that was fucking quick.
yeah, it was.
I don't know, I remember this boss being harder, but after, like, replaying expert mode, it's not really the case.
I think it's just all the different patterns you have to get used to.
Yeah.
It's also a shame that there's actually like other like attacks and patterns that we're not going to see because like they put a lot of stuff in this game.
There is a lot on this game, even though that, yeah, is a pretty content-chocked game.
There's even like Easter egg attacks and shit.
There's like Easter egg boss phases?
Yeah, we missed one with the onion. That was pretty silly, where you could just not attack it, and then it just
They're the onion, and then just a little radish guy in the next phase.
yeah. I love it also. It changes the health meter whenever you lose to just be a question mark because it's just like I don't know.
Yeah. There's even a hidden phase in one of the DLC bosses.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I'll probably tell you when we do the watch of that video, because we're definitely saving most of that for that video because spoilers and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, there's this boss. The only parryable thing is those eye lasers. Good luck getting S rank.
I really thought the flamethrower head was variable because it looked like that color of pink, but
Nah.
I was sorely wrong. This is also a pretty on-the-nose reference.
Yeah, Mega Man. I enjoy most things in this game, and I really don't like Mega Man that much.
I think the nice thing about this game is it always stylizes its references enough to make it, like, where it's not like a thing that'll look dated, you know, if you don't know what it is. It's just, oh, that's cute.
It's not literally like Skullgirls using the fucking Chireito anchor and all of the effects. Because Skullgirls is like, subtlety, what's that?
This animation is so cool.
Yeah. Again, pencil animation.
It took a long time to make, and it was absolutely worth it.
Every single frame.
It is just really funny to me, the idea of, like, emulating, like, such a decades-old style is not that easy.
Yeah. It did bring a lot of, like, interest into, like, that kind of style and that kind of era, given that, like, it's a really interesting piece of animation history, because it was, like, around the time that animation was, like, just beginning.
I said decades old, it's actually a fucking century old.
Ugh.
Yeesh.
Yeah, 100 years old. But back then, they were just starting shit, so they're like, what is animation? What do we do here? And it's just like, the wildest shit that you've seen. It got so surreal that at a certain point, they had to make, like, a code in order to, like, regulate the kind of content that could be done in these cartoons.
Yeah.
Like, the most infamous one that was the biggest influence on Cuphead was Swing You Sinners, which was just Bimbo the dog suffering in a graveyard because he wanted to steal a chicken and being haunted by ghouls and creepies and, like, I don't even know. But it gets
Yeah.
referenced in Cuphead, like, a fucking lot.
It is quite impressive because it's like very much everything here is meant to be like a reference to that sort of style. Like the designs of the characters, the way they animate, like everything is playing off that style, but it's all completely original.
Yeah. Like, there are definitely some, like, homages to those, cartoons, if you, like, look hard enough. But they're still, you know, unique in their own ways. Especially given that it's applied to, like, a video game.
Yeah, no, it's like we don't even have this. Oh yeah, I guess we do have it now that Cuphead has an animated series, but like they didn't even do this for an animation style for like a show. It was for a video game, and it's like
Yeah.
quite. It's like you can see this so easily going wrong if the people actually making the game itself didn't do a good job of like making it, fun to play. But it's incredibly well crafted. On top
Yeah.
of just everything with the visuals being spot on.
Oh, absolutely. I did see the Cuphead show since I'm mooching off of my, brother's Netflix account, and I was just like, you know what, why not? It's pretty alright. It's definitely not as well animated as this, but it definitely does, have its well animated moments. I'm just like,
Say, how could it be as well animated as this game? Because, like, if it was, it would take, several years to make an episode.
it absolutely, like, would take much longer to get episodes out, but it's only taken, like, a while to get new episodes out because Netflix sucks.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, we could just split season 1 in half and call the other half season 2 and just dump a whole bunch of episodes at once because everybody binges. And that's why nobody talks about JoJo as much as they used to, because Netflix is just like batch uploads. And I guess that's alright for, like, ensuring the quality of the episodes since it's not, like, weekly, but, like, fuck.
I don't know. I think it would actually help things be, like, consistently in, people's mind spaces if you actually uploaded it, weekly. Like, one a week,
Like, weekly or even, like, bi-weekly. It would be better than, like, waiting months.
Yeah. Because then, like, it's there for a day, because I heard people talk about this game's show for, like, a couple of days, and now I haven't heard from it for a while. So, like,
Yeah.
Netflix is, they're fucking stupid. They got no idea
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Shitty service. Just pirate that shit, everybody. Oh yeah, right. They had like a quote-unquote creepy Easter egg if you pirate this game.
What's that?
The title music is like backwards and corrupted. And if you put the music in a spectrograph, you see sprites of the devil there.
What the fuck?
Yup.
I love that shit. Good.
Like, the most I can imagine for Battle Craze is just, like, maybe Link, like, opening up a tab on the player's browser to, like, a donation box with just the text saying, come on, dude.
I've heard, like, mixed things about the way people feel about these, like, flight segments. I've actually
Yeah.
found them quite fun.
Yeah. But they definitely like how some of the harder bosses.
Yeah, yeah. At the very least, there's one boss I know of that's extremely hard on this.
I think I know who you're talking about.
This fucking attack.
Yeah, Kristar was just like, I really like the way that he just freaks the fuck out. My son!
My son.
Stop all the downloading! Daddy said I could use his credit card to get V-Bucks. I'm so sorry.
He has the Earthworm Jim gun.
Oh no! Rip Earthworm Jim 4, we hardly knew you.
We hardly
least we-
wanted you.
At least we have the cartoon!
God.
Why did they give Earthworm Jim fangs?
What? I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. There's an
They
EX
just
version
gave
of
him-
the bombs?
Yeah, EX version of the bombs.
I did not know that was a thing. I also mostly use supers as opposed to EXs, so that would explain that.
And then just casual cannibalism.
We've already seen at least one other instance of that in this game, so...
Was it the fish?
Yes.
Yes. List of things that are fucked up in Cuphead. 1. The whole plot is you getting the soul contracts of all of these people who are in debt for the devil himself.
Wally Warbles?
So, yeah, like, each of these bosses fucking went to a casino and are in debt. Imagine a giant fucking dragon at a casino.
Oh, yeah. I also like the fact that, due to the way the level layouts work, you can fight the bosses in pretty different orders. So,
Yeah.
like, I feel like everyone's kind of fought them in their own, particular order.
Coffee!
What does Whetstone do again?
When you do a parry, you also do an attack, which is like, it sounds useless, but people have definitely, like, found ways to cheese bosses using it.
Interesting.
And then there's this fucking guy. Jimmy the Great.
Jimmy.
Slash! Nothing to it! Shoutouts to Trent. I like how his shoes are just genie lamps.
Oh, they are, wow.
And then he just does this.
The super attack with the plane is pretty interesting. Just become a bomb and just run into them.
Yeah. I wish it were a beam sometimes, because there are definitely situations where I wish I were closer to the boss, but I really can't get comfortably close to them.
I do like it has just the added on iframes after the explosion, so...
Yeah. And also, the super in of itself is just like, if you're in a tight spot and you don't want to get hit, there you go.
And the explosion's big enough, you'll probably deal damage.
Yeah.
This background, by the way.
Yeah, it's... Yeah?
Also, the funny Easter egg here, where if you do the shrunken attack as he's reading you, just a little bitty fucking puppet.
Yeah. And then it makes the last phase much harder for just a cute little guy.
Yeah.
I do like how backgrounds like these actually were seen in like a few Fleischer cartoons.
Right.
Albeit not as like looping as this, but a little bit more like intuitive. Okay. I will meditate and destroy you.
As a programmer, it looks like hell getting these animations to like sync up in a way, like make it look
Yeah,
natural as these attacks flow together.
because it's like the game runs at 60 frames per second, but everything is animated at like the standard 24 frames. And to think that the CDI cutscenes would be animated at 10 frames per second.
So it just takes a really good coordination between animator and programmer to like make this game function as it does. Because if
Oh,
either one of
definitely.
them doesn't, play it right, then suddenly the whole thing looks like a mess. But no, they did it like just perfectly.
Yeah. I know that they like, use placeholders for like boss ideas in case, something doesn't pan out, so you don't like do a whole bunch of animation for fucking nothing. And even then they're like cut bosses and animations that didn't make it into the game at all. Like there was like early demos for like a boss that you had to parry and nothing else, and it was cut.
Huh. Yeah, this game has a very interesting cutting room floor page.
Yeah. And here's our next Battle Craze character, but fucking rubber hose tumbler gremlin.
This looks like a pre-nerf charger. It seems pretty good.
I don't know, I think it was nerfed after this, but
Oh, by the way, that little hot air balloon in the background, that is 100% a reference to The Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Genesis.
yeah.
It is not the last time we'll see a reference to that game, which is something. But that game was
Yeah.
also, like, kind of a Contra-like, so...
This game takes a lot of inspiration from Contra.
Yeah. That's very, like, the spread shot is pretty distinctly the Contra one.
Yeah.
Achievement unlocked boss.
Yeah, there are plenty of them in this game.
That's the first one we fought, though, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that
I
was
guess it is.
the first one that I really struggled on, was that boss.
Oh god.
Or it was also the first boss I fought on this island, so...
Yeah, that'll happen. Oh yeah, there's this.
Wow. Failed 42 times and I didn't even notice somehow.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna skip the run and gun. Okay, yeah, we're gonna see it. This one sucks!
Remember this one being kind of neat?
It definitely has, like, a cool gimmick, but it's also, like, there's just too much shit!
Yeah, I've only ever played through these once, just enough to beat it, and then that was it.
What? I literally used a fucking cheat that they added in the pre-DLC patch just because I'm fucking sick of Perilous Piers and I wanted to get the last remaining coins.
Ah,
I love this design, though.
Ugh.
Welcome to my sensory overload nightmares.
Yeah, it's really neat looking, but
Salvador Dali and all that.
ugh.
Oh. Yeah, the only way that you could beat this pacifist is if you wait for that guy to open his mouth, and after he retracts his tongue, you go into his mouth.
Yeah, there's like a lot of weird strategies you have to kind of just figure out in order to do the passive runs. Because like
Yeah.
almost all of them have like this little mini boss at the end, and you just have to somehow just not fight them.
I mean, there's one that you can't fight, literally, you have to run away from him. And then there's Perilous Pierce. I do like how all the islands have like a little theme to them, which ties most of the bosses together. Like, Isle 1 is just, you know, like a grassy countryside, and Isle 2 is like a big carnival. And Isle 3 is just a big fucking city on the docks.
Oh yeah, so it does work.
I heard that they're originally planning for like an initial Island 4 that was going to be water themed, but they just shoved the bosses from that into Isle 3.
Oh yeah, the ones in the pier.
I mean, it works. They really didn't have to do this.
Yeah, especially because it was like way after the fact.
I mean, it definitely looks nicer.
Oh no, absolutely.
And like in the DLC, they get like even more ambitious with animated cutscenes. Fuck this boss.
Oh, is this the honey one?
Yeah.
I remember. I do remember this game having a lot of like initial reactions, and then people had different bosses that they hated more than other people did.
Yeah.
Like this isle is in particular has a lot of ones that like it's like one person's like, oh, I hate this one. The other one's like, I don't know, I didn't have trouble with it. I
Yeah, that seems to be the thing.
I seem to be the only person who didn't have that much trouble with this one.
I remember I had a lot of trouble with Captain Briny Beard, and when I streamed the game like a few years ago, they were like shocked when I could duck like the giant fuck off laser beam.
Oh yeah. I remember, yeah,
And
that
then
one gave me a surprising amount of trouble, and then I think that surprised Bob, who's just like, I nearly beat him my first try. I'm like, yeah, I mean, fair enough.
oh, is he gonna try to KO the boss before she transforms?
I think I didn't manage to do that.
Oh,
Oh god.
wow.
I have so little familiarity with the actual attacks of the last phase. Like,
I
I
just know
think
that it's. Sorry.
I've seen the transformation, obviously, but, like, I think she dies pretty quickly after that.
I hate dodging the fist move, but the buzzsaw is like easy shit.
See, I don't even know the fist. I don't even know what that looks like. Can't even tell you. All right. An NPC to tell you, hey, you should try not using the same thing over and
Don't use the charge shot like a scrub. No, I'm kidding.
over. And then there was that ridiculous um, speedrun tech where you like,
Yeah, where you like rapidly switch between the roundabout and the lobber for maximum DPS.
and then they patched it out, and then I think made it an option to
What?
like, yeah, I think there's an option or like a way to play it pre-patched entirely for like speedrunners.
Legacy. That must be what that is. That's at least very considerate of Studio MDHR to do.
Absolutely.
Instead of just like, you can't play the old version of this game ever. Like, it's gonna be really hard with like Battle Craze, but I hope we could do something at least for like the Game Maker version. But it's not a promise.
Fighting games are a little different that way.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but you know, had Ultra Street Fighter 4 that had version select.
I didn't notice until now the captain being launched into the ocean.
Yeah, he just drowns.
Bye.
I also think that the barrel is a reference to that Senko super that I mentioned earlier, but it's done in a way where you don't really notice it until you think hard enough.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, and also that Rumor Honeybottom's intro was a QB reference, so yeah, these are Darkstalkers fans. This level sucks.
Oh, oh. Yeah, I don't think I had as much hatred for the stage as you did, but I also remember it also being the hardest one and just not liking it.
There is just so much shit coming at you. Like, God. Sorry, I'm taking HRT. And then there's this thing that you can't outrun. I mean, you could certainly kill it, but if you're doing pacifist, then you're gonna have to outrun it. And he comes back!
I should say I never bothered the pacifist shit. So
I mean, I might give it another try, given, you know, I want to see how much of this I can complete. And then there's this part. Oh boy. So, not only do you have to deal with breaking down rocks, you have to deal with this clam shooting bubbles behind you, and all of these shrimp coming up from the depths of hell to do your ass in to Davy Jones's locker. But this octopus looks like he's having a fun old time.
What does parrying that thing even do again?
It makes him shoot a cannonball to break a rock.
Ah.
And I guess you just die if you hit a rock or he sinks.
Yeah, platforming segments are, they're not great.
I'm so glad that they just had the King's Leap instead for, instead of platform levels, because, my goodness.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Well, here's the weird one.
Oh, spin!
Here comes a spooky punch. You're up.
To think that these ghosts would appear in an official Popeye comic.
What?
Yeah, I just saw, like, fucking Popeye dealing with the mausoleum ghosts in, like, an official comic.
Wow.
That's certainly something to have, like, your influence, like, be a part of your influence, you know? Because, you know, Popeye definitely had fucking influence on this project.
You love to see them support each other.
Supporting me for BioLizard.
Yeah. Yeah, where's Shadow the Hedgehog and Cuphead?
Shadow the Hedgehog would play Cuphead in secret.
I have to shoot all these damn ghosts.
Victory!
Where's that damn fourth super art? It doesn't exist. Take a powder. It means she's going to snort meth.
Oh.
Mugman, we need to cook. And then there's this boss who's really easy, but he's really cool anyways.
It's probably my favorite boss.
A great slam and then some. Here goes.
I love the sound of the spoon filling up with garbage. Just fucking.
There's just so much going on in this fight.
Yeah. Its homage is definitely obvious. And then there are just, you know, nods to that Batman game.
Yeah, this is the other reference to Adventures of Batman and Robin coming up. Which is this entire phase.
Yeah, the Katzenwagen. It has a name.
I love how this boss fight has a twist. It absolutely
Yeah.
didn't need one, but I fucking love it.
It's a twist, which is also a reference to the Batman game.
Oh yeah, it would be.
Other fucked up thing about Cuphead, that rat killed other rats.
That's a yeah.
It's also funny to think about how they're now, like, Cuphead comics, like, official Cuphead comics, and seeing some of these characters just, like, in wacky situations, like Werner Werman getting a job, like, building a dam. The art for those comics is like, really fucking good. I know that, like, the Cuphead wiki just has, like, the entirety of, like, the first volume, and the second volume you could just, like, find on, like, a Read Comics Online site. I would recommend it.
Now go.
Oh, why this is the level name I keep forgetting? Rugged Ridge.
I think this level I just genuinely forgot to do. Like, I remember at one point, one of these running gun stages, I just went back to, I'm like, oh shit, I never did this. Where are my last coins at? Oh.
You better not miss the coin on here, or you're gonna have to restart the whole fucking thing. Don't have to kill that guy. Like, I know for pacifist guides, they say, like, wait for the pink spit and parry off of that, but you can just parry off of that thing's face.
Huh.
Oh, hey, there's Miss Chalice.
I just don't remember this stage at all.
And a fucking plate. What the? Why would you do this?
Fuck you in particular.
Fuck this satyr in particular.
You know what? I think I just straight up didn't do the stage. I think I beat the game and went, oh, wait, I didn't beat one of... Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, I was really glad that I didn't have to do Perilous Piers when I was live streaming the game, because, like, fuck. Coffee!
Coffer.
Coffee! And when you get stressed! Restroom!
I'm
Bees!
not gonna talk about Cuphead's cryptocurrency.
Popcoin? I don't think they did, because, you know, Cuphead wasn't at the height of its popularity during the crypto boom. I know that fucking crypto-based inspired Spamton coin happened.
I thought you were to say they didn't get involved with that because they're smart.
I mean, Studio MDHR obviously did not get into cryptocurrency because they're not stupid.
So this boss fight,
I love this boss, but fighting him is...
this is the first boss I beat on Expert. I don't know why I did it. I think I just remember beating it and then being like, well, fuck, I still have it, like, I've got the patterns down, let's try Expert, let's see how bad that is.
I always go for the head antenna first.
I don't even
And
remember
then
what I used to do in this fight, but I do remember having, like, a whole strategy down for it.
I remember I would save up my meter, and when he shot his head out, I would just use the bomb and wait for him to collide into me, and generally on the normal difficulty, he would just skip to the next phase, because I hate dealing with this.
This is the part that, I hated the most.
Yeah.
Also, this is most definitely not, like, a Sonic reference.
Sonic the... Dr. Call chuckled, "Did you mean the Chaos Emeralds?" I don't know what he would sound like. He didn't show up in the cartoon yet.
I also don't really get why he's named Dr. Call.
I think he's named after Milt Kahl, who was one of the 9 old men who are like these legendary Disney animators.
Huh.
And there may or may not be a Battle Craze character named after him. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you want to know what's funny about this boss fight? A little detail that you probably won't notice. So it has the boss's names on the contracts. The contract is for the robot.
Right.
So the robot went gambling on its own. It somehow fit into a casino without the fucking doctor's consent.
I mean, sometimes robots gotta gamble too, I guess.
Gotta get that money for bubblegum somehow. I don't even know why he does that.
That's a good question.
And then there's this fight, which is really fighting game-esque. Even though that intro is like a reference to Urian. She's got a fucking dive kick. She's got an air projectile.
She has one of Billy Kane's moves there.
I was gonna say that's like a Mortal Kombat teleport. And then she has that Lilith projectile. Except it doesn't go up and down. This entire fight is great.
Yeah.
I remember when I was streaming this, I think Crewstar said something about, like, they thought that the baby bottles were, like, bombs? My child's first war crime set.
I love the guy in the background just like, my wife's dead!
It's funny, you could kill him!
What?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
if you, like,
right.
yeah, if you stand on both of the platforms in the first fight, instead of, her raising children, she instead, becomes a nun. And then in, like, that last Final Fantasy phase, her husband would show up.
Oh, that's right.
One of the new, weapons, the Twist Up, is really good for this phase. Everyone's horrified.
Oh.
And it makes me wonder, are the babies just actors or what?
I guess so.
Or does it not matter because this is a fucking cartoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the deep philosophical implications of Cuphead's child labor laws.
Let's talk about Bendy and the Ink Machine. No, I'm not.
What?
I don't know anything about that horror game that also was coincidentally like around the time Cuphead was a thing. But it's also like, I just didn't give a shit.
I know less than you do, apparently.
Indie horror games are kind of the same shit.
I like that the weapons are like some form of potion.
It's like some kind of liquid. I guess they put that into their heads. Because their heads is full of some unknown white liquid. That's most likely milk. I think it is milk. I think they said at some point it was milk.
Who drinks milk in a mug anyway?
Me, maybe.
Fair enough. This is the boss fight that, I remember Nimrod was just like, I want to watch you fight this boss because I want to see how much you struggle with it. And then I ended up beating it on, like, my third attempt or something.
I'm having trouble with her on expert because I feel like she has too much goddamn health. And also the second phase is a nightmare on expert. I don't know what to do!
Yeah, some of the extra fights are pretty, intense.
For like, it's such a small amount of changes to make them expert, and it's like, damn, this shit really is expert mode. And then this fucking happens.
This boss fight goes places.
Yeah, and then it's just like, welcome to bullet hell.
Oh man, I love Castlevania.
Man, I fucking love Parodius. Albeit that was like earlier.
Oh yeah, they introduced this, like, attack that doesn't actually hurt you. It just freezes you.
Yeah, I hate dealing with that because generally I'm like always caught at a bad time when I'm shooting.
I don't even think we saw it. There's the boat boss actually has a projectile that is distinctly the bubbles that the crab enemies shoot at you in Metal Slug 3.
Yeah. We did see those, it's just that it went by so fast that like I wasn't expecting the player to just like damage like I forgot what it's called when you like deliberately take damage in order to progress further.
Damage boost.
Yeah, just damage boost through the boss.
Although I think in this game it's more so damage race.
I like how this is the penultimate boss before you go to hell because in the intro it mentions that Cuphead and Mugman found themselves on the wrong side of the tracks. And guess what's on the other side?
Oh, that's cute. I didn't notice that. Also, this boss fight is annoying.
Yeah, like honestly, the new weapons just make this a whole lot easier. As well as that charm that gives you health on like multiple parries.
Oh yeah, that one's neat.
There's also a reference to Pan's Labyrinth, as well as that cartoon I mentioned earlier, Swing You Sinners.
So yeah, you have to like guide the train around by parrying these little valves, and if these pumpkins drop these things on top of them, that counts.
I always just refer to that as like bubblegum because it's like, oh, it's Halloween, so they're just giving you bubblegum.
I don't know what these things are.
I do not know. They're called the Lollipop Ghosts. I think fans dubbed them the Blaze Brothers before they got their official names.
Yeah, because they shoot electricity at you, so I just really don't know what they are.
I also have a hunch that this is based off of Iron Horse Iron Terror, the specific part.
That might be a stretch.
It may be, but there's a few other Darkstalker references, I won't doubt it.
Yeah. Potentially. And so we get to, the final stage?
Quote unquote.
Final... I guess actually... No, this is essentially a fight before fight.
Yeah. What was it, like Red's Wacky Dice Palace?
Black Silly Dice Maze.
I was close! Hey, I guess I can make a bootleg Gunstar Heroes now. Shooty, Cosmic Object, Saviors? Shooty Cosmic Object Saviors.
Cosmic Object.
That just sounds like a Toho subtitle.
It does.
Okay, time to get out of hell, bye.
Okay, bye. I gotta go buy my last thing.
It's funny that hell is just fucking right there.
I just wandered into it.
Yeah.
Also, shout outs to the. I think the last weapon we have to buy is just the drop shot from Metal Slug.
Yeah. I like using it.
Yeah, it's a very crappy weapon, except it does a lot of damage. Butter and Egg Man?
I think there's an explanation for that name based off of an idiom. I forgot what, though.
Hmm.
And then it all comes together down in hell. It's a really simple execution how they just, handled everything with, like, hell and the devil, where it, like, makes sense, you deal with the devil, you lose some shit, the devil always gets his due and all that crap. Gambling.
I have to see how they handle this. Oh wait, no, that's after this fight. You have to go through Bowser's castle before you get to Bowser, I guess.
I like how he's pissed because he lost a bet, not because... Stop that. They do this shit with his eyes based off of some character from Pinocchio, and they do it again in the DLC?
Huh.
So I'm like, yeah, the Moldenhauer brothers are probably fucking traumatized by Pinocchio.
So yeah, this is very definitely the dice maze from Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah.
There's a boss fight for every one of those numbers, and
Here's a real high-class bout. It's on.
some of them are pretty annoying, most of them are pretty easy.
It's weird that, Tumblr was a big thing back when this game came out, so it was like people making sexy anthropomorphic versions of a stack of chips that says yeehaw and a fucking cigar.
I think you're just in some weird circles, Jan.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Can't say I encountered that one. This is all considered one boss fight, by the way.
It's quite a gauntlet.
So to S rank it, you have to not get it ever. I think.
I think it's like I think people recently learned that you just have to keep your original 3 hit points, and we somehow skipped the intro where King Dice is lighting the cigar up.
Oh yeah, what the hell?
And it's funny because, like, you get Vord before you fight the boss, so King Dice is just shoving his entire hand down his throat to light the cigar.
Is that like some sort of censorship thing?
What?
They cut out like the part of the intro?
No, I don't know, because I've never seen the Switch version. Come to think of it. I don't know why they would censor something like that, because, that's obviously a cigar, and those are obviously cigarettes.
Let's go see if I can find anything out real quick.
A great slam and then some.
Huh,
Now
I guess
go.
not.
Ren Hoek Rabbit. Star Wars noise. Oh, you have to parry upwards, but this guy was just like,
Just gonna take the L on that one.
a W for me and an L for you.
Ridiculous.
That one works. That one actually works.
I get it. It's just, jeez. How am I supposed to roll 3 sixes? All the dice have only 3 faces on them.
This dice is loaded. Yoded?
This dice is Yoda.
Got the worst one, and we're skipping Mangosteen. The best casino boss.
Oh yeah, that's literally just melon bread.
But with a body. But now we have to deal with this shit. Matching cards.
This fight is surprisingly difficult, just because it goes on for so damn long.
Yeah, because, like, he has, like, hit point, like... It's not only you have to play this stupid matching game, but also, like... Each time you get the fucking cards... I guess the easier way is, like, it's really hard to just, like, make this go by quicker. You have to match everything in order to kill this boss.
Oh yeah.
But I think in, like, there's actually an exploit where you can, like, skip fighting this boss.
Oh, I remember, yeah, I was trying to remember what that was going on with this fight.
I don't know if it was patched out or not.
There was the horse jockey one, too. I remember that being my least favorite. My runs basically just ended there.
Yeah. It's mostly just because there's a lot of foreground shit going on, and you can't even see, like, the ground below you, which is important because there are fucking guys coming up around. Ghosts.
Jeez. We haven't really talked about the fact that the dodge mechanic for the plane is you just become small.
Yeah. It's really helpful.
It's a cute idea.
And there's an achievement for killing a boss by just using the mini plane fire.
Huh.
I didn't get it, obviously, because I'm not crazy.
That is a really long fight for just being like a mini section in this large boss fight.
Yeah, that's why it's ideal to, like, skip it as much as possible. Like, bad numbers on this are 1, 6, and 9. Please don't get a 2.
Well, one is the drinks.
Yeah, number 1 is the drinks. That one's just... Nobody wants to deal with the drinks.
I remember that one being okay.
And then there's King Dice being the fucking coachman from Pinocchio and doing Cab Calloway dances with his hand.
My favorite thing is the very first time I fought this boss, he just put his hand down because I wasn't ready. I just died.
I'm sorry, but...
It just really wasn't expecting, and then suddenly he's just like, here's the fight, did KO.
He only has one attack!
Yeah? And so...
And then we fight the devil himself.
And then we get a Battletoads reference.
What?
The intro.
Oh.
It's either that or Donkey Kong Country. It could be either or, really. It's probably actually DKC, considering what the animation looks like.
I thought you were gonna mention like the cutscene where you could just join the devil, which is a reference to Contra Hardcore.
Oh. Let's say I haven't seen this animated, so that should be interesting. Yeah, there's just a random bad ending. Why not?
Like how the second volume of the comics just explored the idea of what if they were evil and just fucking evil Cuphead and vile Mugman just ruining the devil's operations because they're that much dickheads.
I wanted to give a special shout out to the the death screen for the
Yeah.
boss fights, and actually the levels too. It has like this meter that shows you how far along you were in the boss fight when you died. Which
Yeah.
is actually works to be pretty encouraging, honestly. Oh my god.
This isn't the music I mentioned earlier. It's just backwards. I forgot about that.
And as well, it also the music the music in this game has dynamic speed, as you notice in the credits there when it's sped up. But it also like slows down on the death screen, which is really funny.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that again. Except this time we won't sell our souls to the devil.
Yeah, I'm remembering this is all like a single screen for each of these like text boxes, and the transition from this to that was just kind of drastic.
Yeah. And then we fight the devil as himself. And this intro is really fucking cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. Loading times are not great.
It's the Switch.
Yeah. Oh my god. Holy crap.
So I really like this interpretation of the devil.
This is a very fun fight.
Yeah. But enough about Cuphead. Let's talk about religion. No, I'm kidding. Like, admittedly, I know a lot about the history of Satan as a figure because of college.
Huh.
Like, I had to write a paper about the history of Satan and, like, Christianity, how he was depicted and stuff, how he was, like, used.
And that's how Necros is born.
No, Necros was born much earlier than that. And then there's this,
Yeah.
where they're just like, fuck you, adds rim lighting to our animation.
Oh, he has Sonic eyes for a second.
Sonic Heroes!
Sonic's going to hell.
Didn't he already go to hell?
I don't know, probably.
I mean,
Everywhere else.
I mean, I guess he, like, went to the center of the Earth in Sonic Unleashed. That's close enough.
Oh yeah.
I love these demons.
This not this part of the phase. This phase, he just starts crying.
Like, not even name of DLC final boss was this much of a bitch.
Yeah.
But I do like the thought process behind it. They're like, you know, Satan, he's all cocky because he's big, and then he gets angry because he's, you know, losing. And then he's just like, I can't fucking beat these cups. I'm so pathetic.
I will fill my head with your tears.
Anyone who opposes me shall be destroyed.
Okay. Gosh,
These having these.
I can't wait to tell
Sorry.
everyone that we freed their souls from Satan.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knew what they were going in for when they went to a casino and they lost.
Oh, everyone's a lot smaller now.
Yeah. There are like some bosses that aren't present in that like wide shot, so it is assumed that Wally Warbles is actually dead.
They cooked them. Interesting to see achievements on a Switch game.
Yeah, some people are like, we don't want to get rid of achievements, so we're just gonna hard code them into the game. I know Bayonetta does that, and so does this game. I think it's a really good idea, to be honest.
Oh yeah, Bob was talking about Hades the other day, and apparently that game did that as well.
I wonder if Anton Ball does that too, because it's on Switch as well as Steam.
Well, Cuphead gambles with the
Oh god, all the
devil.
music.
Yeah. Like, honestly, best soundtrack of time. Yeah, the singer's great. She also did the King Dice theme.
Any closing thoughts?
I really love this game to pieces. And you could, I guess it's not super obvious how this influences my work, but it definitely motivates me as an animator. Like, at least to animate responsibly. I know that I mentioned, like, the Thief and the Cobbler before, but I
Right.
didn't go into full detail about, like, what that was. But the short answer of it is an extremely ambitious project by Richard Williams, whose studio also worked on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, in order to fund that project that just went in development for so long due to the scope of its animation that it just didn't get released as originally intended, and it flopped hard.
Didn't they like kind of eventually have to just be like, fuck it, it's done, even though they didn't have like all of it actually what they wanted to accomplish actually done?
Like other studios did, and then later fans would like try to recreate it as like originally intended, and it's as complete as it could be. And I would recommend watching it once, even if like the story is really like half baked. The animation is something like you can just gush about. But I will say that some of the themes of the Thief and the Cobbler have definitely not aged well.
Right. I know you showed me at least something from that, and I was quite impressed at
Yeah.
the animation on display.
But here's like kind of the same story, but it worked out in the end. But then again, they, took out the racist parts of the 1920s
That's all
and
there is.
took care of their staff.
Anymore.
Yeah, no, I think part of the delay was just like, hey, we're not going to crunch this, and that's good.
And we're not going to do this during, COVID. And it definitely shows in the final product. Back at it again at Studio MDHR.
But not
We're
all
not
in the
gonna...
same room.
Yeah. Because I don't know why they decided to do it this way, but
So, what, version of the game is this?
PC maybe.
Okay. Say.
It was 4 years for this DLC to come out. And every single bite of it was worth it. It was all worth the wait.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at the DLC stuff, you could definitely see, oh yeah, this is why this would take 4 years of work. And also, COVID. Like, the cutscenes are a lot more intricate. It looks a lot more active.
It worked! I've stolen your soul!
Goal! Steal!
Well, bye, Mugman, you're dead.
You're fucking dead. Temporarily. So now they're just astral plane shit, which is a tie to Killer Instinct? Indirectly? They both feature an astral plane, and here's Chef Saltbaker. I hope he doesn't do anything bad. I liked seeing a Twitter post that was like, Chef Saltbaker looks like the nicest guy, but he still votes Republican. God powers from a dessert.
I don't understand this plan. I know it's literally impossible to think about this and not think about it too hard. But
Yeah.
who's supposed to eat the dessert? Does the dessert just revive her by being so good?
I don't know. I mean, well, we'll see later, the secret ingredient. You know what's something that I do regret not doing in the DLC?
What's that?
Revisiting this place after I beat a boss just to see if Chef Saltbaker would say anything different if I talked to him again.
I did once. He didn't say anything interesting.
Did he say anything different, or was it just not interesting?
I don't think he actually said anything different.
Yet. Because I think Elder Kettle does change his dialogue depending.
Oh, huh.
And we will not be playing... No, I'm kidding.
So yeah, Moose Chalice is not just a playable character. She is a power-up of sorts.
He's an equipment, which is kind of weird, but they give her a lot to work with to compensate for that. Her dash parries things, she has a double jump. She has a King of Fighters roll, and she has 4 HP.
I've
as
heard
well
her,
as different supers and shooting in plane levels.
I've heard it described as easy mode. I wouldn't really disagree with that.
I actually didn't like play as her too much because I'm still way too used to the way that the Cuphead and Mugman play.
Same. I tried her out, but it was just, it was more, was different.
I honestly might try to use her on the King's Leap Gauntlet. Because I did see some crazy shit that you could do because of the way that her mechanics work.
The dash
Because
parry.
it's that and the fact that if she does that in the air, her jumps and dash reset.
Oh.
So you could like get crazy air against the Rook and just make that boss fight like a lot easier to deal with. The only thing left to do. All is right in the world. They could stick it right up their nose.
Oh, so that actually changes. Interesting.
Yeah, it's dependent on, it's just completely random.
Here's a real high-class bout. Here goes.
I also
So-
like the unique touch where both players cannot have the Miss
Cookie at
Chalice
once?
cookie. Yeah.
That's great. So,
But there's an
yeah,
animation of them failing it. Anyway.
yeah. So this boss I did last, although I did try to beat him earlier, but he's hard. There's just a lot of shit to deal with.
While recording the last video, Bob was talking to me, and he's like, I saw a video of someone ranking all the bosses by difficulty, and this was the #1 boss for them. And I was like, yeah, that's weird.
I do love the way that this guy animates, though, as well as the song has been major earworm for me recently.
I fucking love all of the DLC. Like, I mean, this entire game is just amazing to look at, but they really did just so much. The fights in the DLC here.
For Affinity.
Is not
Yoshi's
exclusive.
Island.
Not exclusive to Fur Affinity. What are you talking about?
DeviantArt. Certain parts of Twitter. Yeah, I didn't figure out how this shit worked on my first time. I think I just got hit by a chicken leg.
I know. I think it took Nerbot pointing out how the chicken leg actually worked in terms of it making the platform disappear. It's like, oh, okay.
And if they get hit with like a bone with no meat, then they like ring the dinner bell, and that's the thing you have to hit to reset the platforms.
I didn't notice the bone thing, but yeah,
I only noticed that today.
I figured out the thing about ringing the bell on the playth or the attempt where I actually beat him.
We got gnome berries.
I can talk about my experience with these bosses because I literally did this yesterday.
This is the thing that they have instead of platforming levels, and it's great because it's essentially just more bosses, but you deal with them differently. And it's nice to have, like, a character they introduce that isn't, like, fucked up in some way. He's just like, I'm a jolly old king! You wanna face my champions? Go ahead, I shall give thee coins! I am so generous.
Also, lots of chess references, which I always enjoy.
Yeah. This is just all so designed so well.
Just run to the side of him, okay.
Yeah, I guess they did that for Miss Chalice's sake. And even though that the King of Games said no charms, Miss Chalice is the only exception.
Huh. Good point. This background, by the way, is just incredible.
Yeah. He sometimes kicks you out, and then sometimes he just doesn't.
I assume it's related to how many bosses you've beaten in the Isle.
Oh, that makes sense. If we're doing Bootlegger Boogie next, then I'm gonna gush about this one a lot. This is the first boss that I went against.
Same.
I love this boss so much. It's just so well designed. And they brought back the fucking Gentleman Spider, and he looks so good. And he's like, Adubadaba! The Wallace flies and, like, the cop ants trying to, you know, deal with the situation with pesticide.
Yeah, there's so much storytelling going on with this fight.
Bring the whole family!
Did you get him, little baby?
I like how this is... Yeah, I love this song too, and I like how this is like a take on the Lololo and La 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 formula, but it just does it so well.
This phase is so disorienting.
Unused content too.
Really?
It was based off of an old unused boss called The Light, which worked the same way, except it was just like a thing that just stood in the middle and shot those lasers. But then this happens, and I'm like, whoa.
This phase is, like, deceptively hard.
Yeah. I'm just like... I remember reading something that, like, they wanted to aim for, like, animation style that you would expect, like, in the 30s and 40s rather than just the 20s. And it certainly shows here.
Oh, yeah.
You know that you could parry that tongue.
Yeah. What I don't like is the fact that you can crouch under it, but then you'll get hit when it comes through because the big hitbox of the. Oh, it's just like a fight cloud too of just the cops and the bootleggers. That's fucking great.
I almost got bamboozled by this.
I guess you didn't see the rest of my video then.
Yeah, not yet. But like, when I first got to that phase, I noticed that something was just wrong when that happened. I was like, I normally shouldn't be able to fire after the knockout happens. And then, you know, Snail was like, I'm fucking pissed. Ha! Ha! Ha!
I did not notice it.
I like how you get dough out of the moonshine place rather than, like, booze. Because you can't make a tart with booze.
Have you tried?
No, because I don't drink alcohol.
Sometimes you just have to get creative.
I don't drink alcohol!
This fight was interesting.
Another really fighting game-esque fight. I like how he taunts you if you don't, like, get close enough. And if you just stand on the other side of the corner, he'll just quickly, like, stab at you.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I saw some players having trouble with this one.
I definitely did too, because my reaction times are, great.
I just bait for him to do the stab, the forward stab and the Isabella anti-air rather than wait for that quick, upwards.
Is that like a reference to something? Because it kind of looks like one.
It does, but I can't put my finger on it.
It is distinctly very Isabella looking.
There it is! Vamos, vamos! Oh. I don't know if this guy's gonna do the bishop or just leave to fight the next boss. Oh no, we're gonna fucking bishop.
Here's a real high-class battle.
To think that a bishop piece was going to be a Battle Craze character.
Oh yeah.
I love this design too.
I spent so long when I first tried this. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to actually touch the fires. I'd spend so much time avoiding fire and fighting games, video games.
This guy was easy. I think I beat him on my first try.
Yeah, it didn't take me too long. Oh. I didn't notice that animation. Just become an organ?
Yeah. I bestow riches upon ye. 2 coins.
Go buy half of a fucking power-up with it, you dingus.
You could actually buy so much because inflation didn't really happen yet.
Oh yeah, I'll probably see something here that I missed. Somewhere.
He's pushing downwards. Yep.
Oh yeah, you just, I guess, sneak on past that.
I glowed upper.
This may be my favorite fight in the DLC.
Is it because it references Street Fighter?
It's just because it's just funny. But that is most definitely Rolento.
Yeah, I called him Raw Lento when I saw him on the cover of that Edge magazine.
The image that is there whenever you get defeated by him is also very clearly a Rolento pose.
Yeah, it's his CVS2 art.
Amazing.
And I guess that's his Patriot Circle. Oh yeah, the secret phase to this part is if you could get all 4 of these guys, like, smoke to just be black,
What?
then, like, there's, like, an entirely different phase where you don't have to, like, deal with, like, screen flipping.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, also, the fucking background is animated too. How cool is that?
Oh god, yeah.
In a weird way, it reminds me of a Codename Kids Next Door episode? I don't know, something about it.
Couldn't tell you. This fight is disorienting.
Yeah. There's at least, like, a pause option where you could, like, change how your reverse controls work.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. It's like, R control A is like, the controls don't invert if the screen flips around. And control type B is the controls do invert when the screen turns around.
I was perfectly fine with the upside down one. It's the sideways ones that just drove me up a wall.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to give us pineapple mint, because it's like, dogs don't eat pineapple. or mint.
I don't think it has anything to do with the bosses.
I mean, they're kind of themed a little bit. Gnome berries. If that's really the best one that they got. And also the ice cubes. But
I like the
I don't know.
guillotine as Betty Boop. That's nice.
He has sharp taste in women. He likes some cutting edge. I love the way this guy animates too. I love his design so much. He's so
Yeah.
creative.
This is really great.
Like, you have the Rook from Fantasy Strike, and then you have this guy. It's like no contest.
Okay, this one I think I beat on my second try? Maybe my first, I forget. No, I know it at least died once because of the fucking stupid jokes they all make.
Defeating you was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Bishop said something about hitting angles.
I can hit you from any angle.
It's an interesting theme for a stage.
This match will get red hot. And begin.
They're just like fucking cult of snowmen.
Yeah?
Every fucking time he has to send out those little minions. You know there's an achievement for beating one of these bosses without killing their minion?
Huh.
Somebody found a cheese at least. I love this guy's animations. And fucking this, another
Oh, here we
Shenko
go.
reference.
Earthquake and Shinko. Not Earthquake, Juggernaut.
Juggernaut!
I mean, it's Earthquake the move, but you know.
Yeah. Then you could just, like, skip that cutscene by just moving. I wasn't expecting this guy to, like, move in the foreground.
I did not see this phase very much.
It's a delight, all of these attacks, like, damn.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And, like, even with, like, the simple act of, like, him turning upside down, it does change a few things on, like, how you deal with them. And they also had to accommodate for his KO animation, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of small details that they have to work around.
Yeah?
But
It's
they,
great. I love it.
They put in the effort.
Golly! A perfect score!
Golly.
G! I think this one took me one try. I actually don't remember, even though it was only like a few days ago.
Yeah, it was just, I think it was a couple for me.
I love this. I love her energy so much.
Yeah?
And also, they're just like, hey, we're gonna add more shading to these bosses because we can.
Oh god, yeah, there's a lot more, like, lighting detail on this.
As well as the final boss, too. I wonder who it could be!
This boss fight's a little weird, just because aiming these cannons is awkward.
Yeah. Because you don't aim them manually, you just have to hit them at the right time. And she moves around a lot.
Even despite that, I didn't have that much trouble with it, so...
Yeah. I think it's funny that it's like... You're doing this tournament thing because of the king, and then the final boss is just his wife. And it gives you 3 coins for beating up his wife.
Good job! Okay, bye! I am now broke. That was all the kingdom's money.
We don't have enough fuel to keep this island afloat! Oh, fuck!
Get out quick. I'm not sure why we did this one last, but,
I did Glumstone last, because he was the hardest. And then, when I did that, it only took me 2 tries to beat him. This boss fight goes in a direction I totally wasn't expecting it to go.
this
As
is...
well as, you know, her in a fucking saloon!
I didn't record myself playing this fight, and I really regret it, because our reactions, mostly Nimrod's, was pretty amazing. Because this fight is something.
The later phases gave me real Earthworm Jim vibes.
Yeah, I could see that. This early phase, made me fucking upset, because I'm just like, holy shit, this is a lot to take in.
Yeah! And then, like, here's, like, relatively straightforward.
Yeah, no, it honestly is probably the hardest at the beginning, just because there's just a lot of dead zones. And then it becomes pretty standard after that. So this starts happening.
I'm not gonna lie, this weirds me out.
Yeah, no,
Just a tiny bit.
it is very, very odd in the absolute most fitting way. Like, for old cartoons that just did weird shit like this sometimes. That is appropriate and also fucked up.
This is just extra fucked up, like... I mean, it's really, like, clever, and this phase is really annoying, but, like... Like, I had a lot of trouble with the 3rd phase. And I was like, what the hell could the last phase possibly be? And I wasn't expecting this.
Weirdly, after I got the first phase down, the rest of it kind of just went into place for me. I think it took me 2 tries on the 4th phase to actually beat it.
Another fucking perfect score!
Also, I got a perfect score on my first clear on the dogfight. I was, like, really kind of worried about it, and then suddenly got a perfect, and I was just like, oh, look at you over here.
Well, I guess fuck Miss Chalice now.
Does this fight... I didn't think about doing this fight with Miss Chalice. I guess you can.
Yeah, you can. Wait, if everything's out of stock, why does he have 5 coins?
I was wondering, especially because I did all the things they've done so far, and I don't have enough coins to buy everything. Again, I also forgot I didn't actually, beat that one level, so maybe that's why.
Oh yeah, we have to do the Easter egg first before final boss. And the hourglass is dead?
This match will get red hot.
Yeah, this was something.
How did you like figure this out on your own, or were you told how to do it?
I figured it out immediately. Like,
Oh.
whenever I saw the dialogue, I was like, okay, this is a hint for something, but for what? And then, when I finally got down to the gravestone, I'm like, oh, okay.
I didn't realize how much animation work this is because, they morph into each other.
Yeah, I noticed they, like, morph in, like, mid-animation, too, so there's gotta be, like, a lot of in-between frames.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing. And also to think that this was a cut phase from the original Devil fight.
Oh, is that what that is?
Apparently, I guess it was like too much work. So they're just like, hey, why don't we put this in here? It's just an extra thing because we can.
Jeez. So, meaning that after buying that, like, useless relic turns it into this? Which fucks with the music and makes the game weird?
It makes the game weird, and if you defeat a certain amount of bosses, you can uncurse it, quote unquote. Okay, so I guess we're not gonna say fuck Chalice. She's gonna save the day.
Alright.
Because, surprise, surprise, as much as I didn't want to believe it, Salt Baker was the final boss, and I'm glad I was so wrong. Because I'm like, they wouldn't do a twist this easy, but I
Well,
think
I
in
mean,
presentation alone, he kind of just sells it for me.
yeah, they made it work.
And to think of, like, how much extra work it is to consider the fact that he's transparent and there's salt inside of him?
You know, this design is... The amount of effort that takes into actually drawing this character is, something else.
Yeah. And then you see him in battle, and it's like, am I watching a Disney movie?
I
Like
just
a
have to-
good Disney movie?
No appreciation of the fact that it, cutscene has 3 variants depending on your setup.
Yeah.
Which is because I didn't actually realize there was a version of this for Miss Chalice as the playable character, but, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, this fight is incredibly, like, sinister.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. Like, it's obviously very comedic, but it's done in just, like, a way that I can't really describe. It's terrifying in a silly
Yeah.
cartoon way.
Crimes against food, and then he just Adderalls, and then
He literally takes a Mario mushroom and becomes giant.
I love this so much. Well, not playing this phase, because this phase is hard as balls.
Yeah, this is the fight right here. Actually, no, the first 2 phases of the fight. The 3rd and 4th phase are incredibly short and incredibly easy, but,
And there's just so much going on, and like how much animation there is in this. Like he has different reactions depending on which salt, like pepper shaker you hit him with.
I didn't even notice that, jeez. Also, just like little cracks and stuff on his
Yeah,
body,
it's a lot of detail to take in.
and then this animation, and
I
then
got killed by the saw.
oh, I technically beat the third and fourth phases on my first try, except the first two times I got to this third phase, that thing just landed on me and instantly killed me.
Yeah, it homes in on you.
Yeah.
And also, this music's supposed to be dynamic, but it isn't kicking in for some reason.
Yeah, whoa, what the hell?
I love the the fucking animation on this. Jesus.
I was wondering if you could parry the heart. Turns out you can. Oops.
And he's oh,
You know, it goes by so fast, but there was so much, like, in those last phases alone. Like, the concept that it's just a world of salt that he is, it's like... ugh.
this shouldn't work, but it does.
They took a very silly concept and then made it, like... insane. It's incredible.
The mark of my salinity shall scar thy fired glaze.
Oh, he's fine, by the
That's-
way.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with this shot.
I don't know.
It's alright, Cuphead. It was bullshit from the beginning.
It's so fucking bullshit.
We have an infinite amount of these cookies, so it's okay.
Yeah. Or maybe it's a cookie that just self-makes itself. I love this segment, by the way.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The owl with the mouth, which is accurate to 20s cartoons.
I didn't even really notice that. Wow.
He kills so many sentient ingredients and tries to, like, get ultimate power. All he gets is community service.
But he makes friends along the way.
Maybe the real Wonder Tart was the friends we made along the way.
An entire whale?
Yeah. It does such a good job characterizing the bosses and Salt Baker himself.
I love all the bosses get a cameo in this.
Yeah. She's eating meatballs. Is she a cannibal? I'm sorry.
I mean, everyone in this universe is, I guess.
I had to shut up because that lyric is so good.
Yeah.
And now he's a reformed man. He's no longer going to make the Wonder Tart, which means killing somebody.
Oh, gee, Miss Chalice, it's a shame we didn't get to kill someone in your honor.
There's probably people who are gonna look into Salt Baker a little too deeply, but I just like to think that he did have good intentions. It's just that at one point he thought to himself, what if I ate this? And then he became evil.
It's, is that easy, huh?
I guess.
Man, what if I had no morals? Shit.
So yeah, was it worth the wait for 4 years for this DLC? Hell fucking yes.
Yeah,
I mean, as a game, when it comes to like new content, it's, I guess I wouldn't say super on the short side. It does have a lot more than I was expecting, to be honest.
it's pretty short, but it's also like I don't know, like the game itself is not that long, so
Yeah.
it's a lot more about it's more of a spectacle of a game, which is sort of unfair to the actual like gameplay because it is also really good, but
That is true.
it's not really about it being just a good game. It is also largely in part just the amount of creativity that
And
they put on
art.
display. Yeah, like it's very artistic and it's I guess at least a testament to the fact that you can make games art and also fun to play,
Yeah.
which some people seem to think are exclusive from each other, but they're not.
Uh, nope. It's like everything in Saltbaker's fight alone just kind of sold me, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
So if I ever mention Cuphead style boss in Battle Craze, I want you to cut me off immediately.
We don't have the fucking time for that.
Yeah. And they got so many people to work on the music.
Yeah, a lot of this credit sequence is just like instruments.
Like the music team, like balloon from like 13 to 20 people to like 100.
It's
And you
something.
can fucking hear it in the Saltbaker boss theme, which is oddly called Baking the Wonder Tart in the OST. I guess it's just to avoid like spoilers, really, but like A Dish to Die For also really isn't like wholly giving it away.
Shoptimus Prime?
Yeah, they did the acapella stuff.
Wow. That's incredible. Production babies.
Babies.
It's always funny to see like this incredibly old style graphics and then like Nintendo and Microsoft and Valve are referenced. The entire Netflix team.
To be honest, if this was gonna be it for like Cuphead stuff, at least like stuff for base Cuphead, I'm honestly more than satisfied if this is the end. This is like a really good way to top everything off.
Yeah, yeah. This was an incredible game. Just simply put.
One of the games of all time, honestly.
Yeah, top 10 games of games.
Top 10 video games.
Special thanks to Jonathan Blow.
No!